So one of the important reasons behind the rise of the Marathas is the concept of Maharashtra Dharma. And we find the Maharashtrian saint, Bhakti poet, they preaching these ideas. This is reflected in their writing as well as later writing, the political writing. So it implies the set of values and the set of practices that is expected to be followed by the people of Maharashtra. And as you know, everything starts with ideas. So what does this implies? The one important thing in this is the protection of Hinduism, liberating the places of pilgrimage which are under the control of the Islamic ruler. And in this we find that there is a opinion of the people are divided. For example, some of the nationalistic historian, they say that this was a kind of nationalism before coming of the British, and this is preached by the people of Maharashtra, but it encompasses the whole of India. And there are some historians who oppose to this idea, and they say that this idea of nationalism was not all comprehensive; it was limited, confined to the Maharashtra only. Well, now, getting into the background, the Yadava ruler of Maharashtra, who had their kingdom at Devgiri, they were defeated in the 13th century, and thereafter, Maharashtra came under the rule which was foreign in nature. The ruler was foreign, they foreigner. They came from outside. First, they migrated from Central Asia, and they had a kind of cultural affinity with those areas. Their religion, their way of living, it was all different, alien in nature. And many of them, they looked down upon Hindus, and they imposed certain disabilities. Islam was a more favored religion, but nevertheless, some of the Hindus did get an opportunity to rise up and take some political position like Shahaji Bhosle. But nevertheless, by and large, broadly speaking, the nature of the government was alien in nature. It did not respect the sentiment of the majority of the Hindu population. There was incidences of the breaking of the temple, imposition of the tax like jizya, and the Hindu population, they reacted in a different manner. The first reaction is withdrawal and the renunciation. Generally, we find that that kind of ideas preach through this bhakti poetry, that word is mithya, word is not worth living, word is an illusion, maya. So, if the word itself is an illusion, how does it matter who rules and who does not rule, whether you are a king or somebody else is a king? But this is not the only reaction that came from Hindu population. The reaction varied. Another reaction is that somehow we need to come together. Somehow we need to come together and we need to protect our religion. We need to protect our tradition. And we should have the king and we should have the ruler. We should have the rule where we can practice our religion freely, as the Muslim sultan and the Muslim ruler, they are not allowing us to do it freely. They are breaking idols, they are imposing pilgrimage taxes, they are imposing jizya taxes. So that idea started taking birth, idea started becoming concretized, and that is how this Maharashtra Dharma idea of Maharashtra Dharma has came into existence. So this Maharashtra Dharma, it is a blending of two kind of pride, two kind of tradition, that is Bhagavata Dharma, which is a part of Hindu Dharma, and there is also pride of being Marathi. So these two things gets combined together, and that is how the Maharashtra Dharma it implies these two things. That is a pride of Bhagavata Dharma and pride of being Marathi. Shraddha, are you from Hindi medium or English medium? Shraddha, can you hear me? Shraddha, if you can hear me, tell me if you are from English medium or Hindi medium. Well, okay. If you are from Hindi medium, let me know.
Yes, sir.
You are from Hindi medium, Shraddha?
Oh,
I could not get you. Yes or no?
yes, 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 sir.
ओके ओके फाइन फाइन। तो आज जो हम लोग चर्चा कर रहे हैं वो महाराष्ट्र धर्म की चर्चा कर रहे हैं। महाराष्ट्र धर्म की क्या संकल्पना थी, और इसमें जैसे शुरू में मैंने बताया कि 13वीं सदी के बाद में महाराष्ट्र के ऊपर मुस्लिम शासकों का रूल शुरू हो गया, और वहां पर जनरली हम लोग देखते हैं कि जो लोग भी मुस्लिम नहीं थे, ऑफ कोर्स यहाँ पर हिंदू ही मेजोरिटी में थे, उनके खिलाफ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन किया जाता था। आमतौर पर कई सुल्तान ऐसे थे कि जो लिबरल थे, और कई इंसिडेंसेस ऐसे भी मिलते हैं कि जहाँ पर हिंदूज को आगे बढ़ने में अपॉर्चुनिटी मिली। शहाजी भोसले, या फिर दक्षिण में कुतुब शाह के दरबार में अदन मकन्ना और उसके भाई थे। तो ये एग्जांपल है, लेकिन जनरली स्पीकिंग ये जरूर होता था कि नेचर ऑफ गवर्नमेंट जो होता था, वो लोगों को लगता था ये अपनी सरकार नहीं है, ये बाहर बाहर के लोग हैं। और ऐसे में अपने धर्म की रक्षा करने की जो संकल्पना यहाँ के लोगों के मन में और यहाँ के साहित्य में, यहाँ के भक्ति साहित्य में हमें दिखाई देती है, उसी ने एक प्रारूप लिया, उसी को कहा जाता है महाराष्ट्र धर्म। तो उसमें दो 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 बातें होती है। देर इज कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ प्राइड ऑफ टू थिंग, प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग हिंदू एंड प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग मराठी। तो एक आइडेंटिटी फॉर्मेशन जो हुआ, एक मराठों का राज्य जो सामने आया, उसके पीछे की एक बहुत बड़ी संकल्पना थी जिसने लोगों के मन को प्रभावित किया, और वो थी ये महाराष्ट्र धर्म, जो कि विच वाज अ ब्लेंडिंग ऑफ प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग अ मराठी एज वेल एज ब्लेंडिंग ऑफ द प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग अ हिंदू। तो इसको अगर हम ट्रेस आउट करने की कोशिश करते हैं, ये आइडियाज की शुरुआत, या फिर इस आइडिया को कॉन्क्रीट रूप कैसे मिलते गया, तो हमें सबसे पहले जो मिलते हैं भक्ति संप्रदाय के बहुत पुराने जो संत माने जाते हैं, जिन्होंने महाराष्ट्र में शुरुआत की, ऐसे आमतौर पर विश्वास किया जाता है, वो थे ज्ञानेश्वर। ज्ञानेश्वर का जो समय है, दैट इज फ्रॉम 1275 टू 1296, बहुत कम उम्र में उन्होंने समाधि ले ली थी। तो एक संस्कृत पंडित थे, नाथ संप्रदाय से थे, लेकिन उन्होंने वारकरी संप्रदाय के प्रति भी अपना योगदान दिया, और उन्होंने भगवत गीता के ऊपर एक अपनी कमेंट्री लिखी, जिसको हम लोग ज्ञानेश्वरी बोलते हैं मराठी में। एंड इन दैट टेक्स्ट ही प्रीच द प्राइड ऑफ मराठी। जैसे कि महाराष्ट्र धर्म में दो संकल्पना मैंने बताई ना, प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग हिंदू एज वेल एज प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग मराठी। सो ही सेज इन दैट टेक्स्ट ज्ञानेश्वरी, माझा मराठाची बोलू कौतिके, अमृतातेही पैजा जिंके, ऐसी अक्षरे रसिके मिळविन. That means what? My Marathi is sweet than the nectar, and I will compose such a beautiful poetry in Marathi. So you know that pride of Marathi language is important dimension of Maharashtra Dharma, apart from pride being an inheritor of the ancient Sanatan Vedic religion. Then he composed lot many abhangas, and through his abhangas also we find that he made the religion easy, and then he tried to reduce the caste differences. For example, he says in Ganeshwari again, bhakti gayatha sare jati apramana. So it is a devotion that is the most important, and caste are irrelevant. So speaking against the caste discrimination, speaking against the superiority and inferiority of the caste, in a way, the Sant have prepared a background so that the Marathis, Maharashtrian people coming across the caste can come together, take pride in being called as a Maratha, and take pride in being called as a protector and the follower of Maharashtra Dharma. महाराष्ट्र धर्म की संकल्पना में हम लोग मराठी है और हिंदू है, इस प्राइड को प्रीच करने के लिए, इस प्राइड को जागरूक करने में इन संतों ने बहुत बड़ा योगदान दिया है। ज्ञानेश्वर जो थे, खुद नाथ संप्रदाय से थे, लेकिन नाथों का जो संप्रदाय है, या नाथों की जो रिलीजियस प्रैक्टिसेस है, ये सर्वसामान्य लोगों के लिए उतनी सुटेबल नहीं है। इट इज नॉट सुटेबल फॉर द कॉमन पर्सन, बिकॉज दे इंडल्ज इन अ वेरी हाईली esoteric yogic practices. It is not possible for the common people, not possible for the householder. And in contrast, there is a system that evolved, or there is a tradition that evolved the surrounding Pandharpur. Pandharpur is a pilgrimage center where there is a very famous temple of Vithala. You must have heard it as you are from Maharashtra. And just before the spread of extensive spread of this वारकरी संप्रदाय का जो बहुत एक्सटेंसिव स्प्रेड महाराष्ट्र में हुआ करीब करीब 13वीं सदी से लेकर, उसके पहले महाराष्ट्र में नाथ संप्रदाय का बहुत प्रभाव था। लेकिन नाथ संप्रदाय का, जैसे कि मैंने शुरू में बताया, द काइंड ऑफ ट्रेडिशन दैट दे फॉलो वाज नॉट सुटेबल फॉर द हाउस होल्डर। और वारकरी संप्रदाय जो था, दैट इज अ वेरी इजी, दे यूज अ वेरी सिंपल मराठी लैंग्वेज टू कम्युनिकेट. They did not have a lot of belief in the rituals, They did not believe that you need priest between God and you. You can directly approach the God by your simple devotion. And they also challenge the caste discrimination. So like I quoted Ganeshwara just now, that bhakti gayatha sare jatiya brahmana. Devotion is everything that counts, and that is the reason this Warkari Sampradaya, which was a part of Bhakti Sampradaya, gave space to the people coming from the different castes to come forward and compose devotional poetry. अलग अलग जाति के लोग सामने आए जिनको ये वारकरी संप्रदाय में, भक्ति संप्रदाय में, वो इसको वैष्णव संप्रदाय भी बोलते हैं, इसको भागवत धर्म भी बोलते हैं. So there are different name, but the intention, or the general salient feature of this movement was that they questioned the priesthood. They did not believe much in the caste system. They believed that everybody is equal irrespective of caste and gender. And that is the reason we find that the lower caste, like Namdeva was a tailor, Sokhamela was a Mahar, an outcast. These people were accommodated within the Varkari Sampradaya. They came forward and they wrote a very beautiful devotional poetry, and the many people from upper caste, they cooperated with them. There were people of upper caste who discriminated against these people. For example, Chokhamela was beaten by the Brahmin priest of Vitthala's temple, but it was another Brahmin called Ananta Bhatta who wrote down his poetry. Sokhamwala was believed to be illiterate. He heard lot many things, and then he was not literate, means he was not able to read probably, but he could compose a devotional poetry, and that was written down by a Brahmin named Ananta Bhatta. So this religion, that is a Varkari Sampradaya or the Bhagavad Dharma, which was a very simple to practice, had no elaborate rituals. It believed in, making good character, though that spread extensively in Maharashtra. So I told you about Ganeshwara, and then there is another important person of this, who was contemporary of Ganeshwara, who died in 1350. He toured North India, and his Abhangas are very popular. Namdeva's some of the Abhangas are also incorporated in Guru Granth Sahib, the sacred book of the Sikh people. Then we have Ekanatha. Ekanatha, he wrote commentary on Bhagavata, 11th chapter of Bhagavad Purana. And then later on, he again wrote Bhavartha Ramayana. So he again composed a lot of independent poetry, like there is a Hindu Turk Samvad. And in Hindu Turk Samvad, that is a dialogue between a Brahmin and a Muslim. And in that, a Brahmin, he questions ki Hindus and Muslim, they both are made by God, but you are a fool, you are deliberately catching hold of Hindus and converting them to Islam. So, through this poetry, Eknatha questions the forcible conversion that is done by some of the Muslim ruler and some of the Muslim people. His poetry in Bhagavad, that is his Eknatha's Bhagavad, it is known in Maharashtra. I have that text, just a minute. Yeah, you see, this is a huge text. I got it. See, this is a huge text, and this text generally have an overbearing influence of renunciation. ये संन्यास प्रवन भक्ति इसमें है, लेकिन इसके बाद में जो भावार्थ रामायण उन्होंने लिखी है, वो भी मेरे पास में है, अभी दिख नहीं रही है. भावार्थ रामायण जो उन्होंने लिखी है, it is a retelling of the story of brave Rama. Brave Rama, Ramayana, we know that he was a brave prince who goes from Ayodhya to Deccan, and he fights against the demon and so on and so forth. So there is a full of description of bravery of Rama, and we find similar kind of bravery of Rama is described in Bhavartha Ramayana. And what does Eknatha was trying to do this through this text is that to awake to awaken the people of Maharashtra to unite together. In that Bhavartha Ramayana, the phrase तोडावया देवाची बांधवाडी उभारावया रामराज्याची गुढी, that means the gods are being put in the prison and we need to liberate them. and we need to establish Ramarajya. For that we need to come together. Now, this is said in the text, in the context of the Ramayana, but this comes repeatedly, and probably it comes to give message to the contemporary population of Maharashtra that your gods are being put in the prison. That means you are not allowed to worship freely, you are not permitted to practice your Hinduism freely, and in order to liberate the god, उनको मुक्त करने के लिए आपको जागरूक होना पड़ेगा, आपको संगठित होना पड़ेगा। तो ये हम लोग देखते हैं कि संतों के एकनाथ उस समय तो महाराष्ट्र में मुस्लिम शासकों का राज्य था, तो बहुत खुलकर वो नहीं बोल सकते थे, उनकी अपनी कुछ मजबूरियां थी। और उनके जीवन में भी एक ऐसी घटना है कि वो पैठन में रहते थे। आप कभी पैठन जाएंगे तो आपको वो दिखाई देगा कि गोदावरी नदी वहां जाती है, और वहां से वो स्नान करके जब आ रहे थे, तो एक मुस्लिम संत था सिद्दी मौला, जो उनके ऊपर थूकता है, और वो फिर वापस जाके गोदावरी में स्नान करते हैं। स्नान करने के बाद में उनको पूजा करनी होती है। जब वापस आते हैं तो सिद्दी मौला फिर थूकता है, फिर वापस जाते हैं, फिर स्नान करते हैं। ऐसा 100 बार होने के बाद में वो सिद्दी मौला जो है वो उनसे माफी मांगता है, कहते हैं कि आप बहुत पेशेंस है, आप में, आप सच में संत महात्मा है, आपको गुस्सा नहीं आया अभी तक। तो वो चेंज हो जाता है। बाद में वो एकनाथ का शिष्य बनता है, उसकी भी समाधि वहां पर पैठन में मिलती है। तो ये तो उसका एकनाथ का शिष्य होना वगैरह, ये तो ठीक है, अच्छी बात है। एक कोई मैसेज उससे मिलता है कि साधु संत ने बहुत पेशेंस रहना चाहिए, उनको गुस्सा नहीं आना चाहिए। लेकिन एकनाथ जैसे एक रिस्पेक्टेबल संत के ऊपर भी कोई थूक सकता था, इससे उस समय के समाज में हिंदुओं की परिस्थिति क्या थी इसका हमें अंदाजा आता है। तो इस तरीके के जो समाज में आत्मसम्मान खो चुका था, जिनको दबाया गया था सदियों से, उनमें जागृति लाने का काम इन संतों ने किया। और उसके साथ साथ में मराठी भाषा के प्रति भी सम्मान जगाने की कोशिश इन्होंने की। उदाहरण के तौर पर एकनाथ के राइटिंग में ही हमें मिलती है, संस्कृत भाषा देवे केली तर मराठी काय चोरापासून आली। दॅट मीन्स, अगर संस्कृत भाषा अगर ईश्वर ने निर्माण की है, तो मराठी क्या किसी चोर ने निर्माण की है? सो कहने का तात्पर्य यह है कि संस्कृत हो या मराठी, सभी ईश्वर ने बनाई हुई है। तो किसी को किसी भाषा को श्रेष्ठ समझना, किसी भाषा को कनिष्ठ समझना, ये अच्छी बात नहीं। क्योंकि देखिए, कोई भी राज्य बनने से पहले लोगों में आत्मसम्मान होना बहुत जरूरी है। अगर गुलामगिरी के बंधन से मुक्त होना है, तो पहले आपको इस बात का एहसास होना होगा कि यू आर बीइंग डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड, आपके खिलाफ अन्याय हो रहा है। और ये अन्याय डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली उसको टू डिस्क्राइब दिस डायरेक्टली और इनडायरेक्टली, द इम्पोर्टेंट वर्क इज डन बाय दिस सन. Now, next important sant is Tukarama, 17th century. He died around 1650. He was Kunbi by cultivator. He was Kunbi by caste. Kunbi थे, वो cultivator थे, and he questions the caste discrimination. He says to God, ईश्वर को कहते हैं कि अच्छा हुआ कि आपने मुझे एक कुंबी के घर में जन्म दे दिया। अगर मैं अपर कास्ट में, ऊंची जाति में अगर मेरा जन्म होता, तो हो सकता है मैं उस घमंड में ही मर जाता कि मैं ऊपर ऊंचे जाति का हूँ और मुझे ईश्वर की प्राप्ति कभी नहीं होती। दैट इज अ ब्यूटीफुल मराठी। ही सेज, बरे देवा कुंबी केलो, नाही तर दंभेची असतो मेलो. Then he questioned the supremacy of the Vedas. The Brahmins, in generally speaking, they kept this knowledge of scripture away from the people, and they kept it in Sanskrit. And then they took a pride that the Veda, only we can study Veda, only we know Veda, and you, most of the people, are ignorant. There is a psychological conditioning, there is a psychological reason that these people wanted to establish and maintain their hegemony. समाज के ऊपर अपना प्रभुत्व रहे, हम अलग है, हमारे पास में ज्ञान है और किसी और को ये ज्ञान नहीं मिलना चाहिए, इस तरीके का पॉलिटिक्स उसमें था। निश्चय हम लोग ये बात सारी समझते हैं। लेकिन तुकाराम has questioned this, that these Brahmins, they really understood the Vedas. Like, at one of the place he says, Vedaचा तो अर्थ आमासीच ठावा, इतरांनी वहावा भार माथा. What does that mean is that it is we devotees who really understand the meaning of the Vedas, and these Brahmin who take pride in their Sanskrit learning, they are just carrying the burden of knowledge. They really don't understand the essence of Vedas, which is to treat human being with the kindness. which is simplicity. They don't understand the God, they don't realize the God. Only thing they take pride in their learning, and the real Veda is known to us. Similarly, Tukarama, though generally a person of have a renunciation, inclined towards renunciation, that kind of bent of mind. He talks about writes Paikache Abhanga. Paik means Shipai, and in that Paikache Abhanga, he describes the essential qualities that a soldier should have. Like he said, a soldier should be fired by the self-respect, and a person who is fired and who is inspired by the self-respect, he can no longer remain quiet. He will fight. He will either win or he will die. And you must destroy the enemies. So in which direction we see the bhakti movement is now going? It is definitely going towards when the people now started to dream about their own kingdom, and that is what we find. It is being manifested in the writing of Ramadasa. And Ramadasa, he had, during the period of Ramadasa, Chhatrapati Shivaji has established his kingdom, and he used to stay in Shivaji's kingdom. So he was fearless person. He don't have to be diplomatic and be careful like Eknatha. Eknatha has given a very subtle message, but Ramdasa's message is more direct. And there he composed a poem called Asmani Sultani, and that in that Asmani Sultani, he narrates very directly what kind of atrocities these Mughal invaders are perpetuating on the population of the Islam. They are carrying away and raping the women. And he writes very directly, किती गुर्जरी, किती ब्राह्मणी भ्रष्ट विल्या, किती त्या देशांतरा गेल्या, किती त्या देशोधडी विकल्या. So many women were raped and spoiled by these invaders. Many of the women were carried away. They were sold to the different places. And he criticizes this forcible conversion of Muslim and Christians. महाराष्ट्र के पास में जो गोवा है, वहां पर पोर्तुगीजों का राज्य था, और वो भी जबरदस्ती से धर्म परिवर्तन करने की कोशिश करते थे. तो ही राइट्स वेरी क्लियरली की महाराष्ट्र देश थोड़ा उडला तुम्हा कारणे, ही ऍड्रेस टू शिवाजी. And he says that lot of people have already converted to Islam and Christianity, and very few people are left, and we need to protect them. Then another of his composition, another his long poem titled Anandavan Bhuvana. Ananda, you can understand the bliss, the happiness. And he says he dreams about a kingdom where there is an Ananda, where there is a bliss. And in that blissful imaginary kingdom, Hindus can practice their own religion. Their udanda zahale pani snana sandhya karavaya. And then he also dreams, he write in that poem Anandavan Bhuvana, Budala Aurangya Papi Mlench Sahara Zahala. Aurangzeb, whom he calls that as a papi, the evil person, he has been, he is destroyed now. And Mlej, the people who were outside the fold of Hinduism, who were impure, they were generally referred as Mlej. And here he refers Mlej to the Mughals. Mlech Sahara Zahala. So interestingly, he Ramdasa has died in 1681, and Aurangzeb dies much later, 1707. So when he wrote Ramdasa, when he wrote about the destruction of Aurangzeba was quite alive and thriving. But that is a dream that is reflected in the poetry of Ramadasa, and probably that was a dream of the significant number of the people of Maharashtra, and that is the reason when Chhatrapati Shivaji started his experiment of Swarajya, large number of people joined hands with him. Then he wrote, Ramdasa, he wrote another very big text called Das Bodha. And there he says, ki you should be always on alert. And here he writes very directly, Maratha Tituka Medvava, Maharashtra Dharma Vadvava. So the exposition of the Maharashtra Dharma more directly comes in the writing of Ramadasa. And here he says, Maratha Titka Medvava, all those Marathas should come together, and they should give rise to the Maharashtra Dharma. And he also praises Shivaji's work, and like Maharashtra, शिवरायाचे आठवावे रूप, शिवरायाचे आठवावे स्वरूप. He says to Shivaji, Maharashtra dharma rahila kahi tu makarne. It's because of you that certain Maharashtra dharma has left. And he gives advice to Sambhaji also. Chhatrapati Shivaji dies in 1680, and after that Sambhaji becomes Chhatrapati, and he was prosecuting the elderly people, the minister who worked with Shivaji. And before his death, Ramdasa wrote a long letter to Chhatrapati Sambhaji and advised him that you should remember your father and follow his footsteps. शिवरायाचे आठवावे रूप, शिवरायाचे आठवावे स्वरूप. So, lastly, I will just sum up what Maharashtra Dharma is. It blends two things: pride of being Hindu and pride of being Marathi. It strengthened the regional, linguistic, and religious identity of the people of Maharashtra. It contributed to the unification of the Maharashtra. And one interesting thing is, Hinduism had been a traditionally very liberal religious tradition. Hinduism doesn't teach anybody that you should discriminate against the people practicing other religion, and that is what we find in the Maharashtra Dharma as well. Ramadasa, who dream of Anandavan Bhuvana and who dream about having Aurangzeb being destroyed, same Ramdasa, in one of his writing, gives instruction to Chhatrapati Shivaji how the fort is to be constructed, and he says there that on the fort there should be a temple, there should be a mosque as well. So the Muslim population or the Muslim follower, they can also practice their religion, but only thing is that Marathas or Maharashtrian need to unite so that they can protect the Hinduism from being destroyed. So this Maharashtra Dharma and the Sant, they also preach that serving the foreign ruler is not good thing. They kept this tradition of ancestors alive, they kept Hinduism alive, they preach a very simple mode of worship, that is bhakti, which united the people cutting across the caste. कास्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेशन उन्होंने रिड्यूस करने की कोशिश की, एंड उनका जो मैसेज था दैट वाज अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ भक्ति एंड कर्म इन जनरली स्पीकिंग, रामदास मैसेज स्पेशली. इट वॉज नॉट एन एसेटिज्म, रिनाउंसिएशन जो जिसको कहते हैं ना कि संसार का त्याग कर देना और सन्यासी हो जाना, ये उन्होंने आमतौर पर नहीं सिखाया. जरूर उनके राइटिंग में कुछ सन्यास पर विचार हमें मिलते हैं जो संसार मिथ्या है, तुकाराम की राइटिंग में या नामदेव की राइटिंग में ऑब्वियसली मिलते हैं, बट जनरली स्पीकिंग they talk about the combination of bhakti and karma. One need to be, for example, in Ganeshwari, Ganeshwara write that जयाचे ऐहिक धड नाही तयाचे परत्र पुसशी काही. That means the person who is not successful in this world, how can be successful in another world? And same Eknatha, while referring to Bhagavad Gita, he writes that Arjuna देऊनी नीच समाधी सवेची घातला महायुद्धी. That means Krishna has raised Arjuna to the very high level of spiritual accomplishment and then asked him to fight the war. Arjuna was not asked by Krishna to renounce the world like Buddha has done. On the other hand, Krishna asked Arjuna that it is your sacred duty to fight the war, because if you withdraw from the war, the consequences will be disastrous. Ramdasa, though himself was a sannyasi, but he generally advises the people that you must do your householder's duty very cautiously, very prudently, and that is the reason he says, "Adi sansara karava netaka, mag sadhave paramartha viveka." That means you must do the householder's duty properly, and then you can also have paramartha, the spiritual accomplishment. Vithala became the god of everybody cutting across the caste. There were Brahmin like Ganeshwara and there were Chokhamala like Mahar, and they both were the part of this bhakti movement, and Vithala was god for everybody. And then Eknatha and Ramdasa, Eknatha wrote Bhavartha Ramayana, Ramdasa wrote poetry on Rama. So Rama, the brave archer, became a kind of inspiration for the coming generation. And apart from that, Ramdasa had also tried to preach the worship of Hanumana. He toured number of places, constructed the temples of Hanumana, and along with that construction of the temple of Hanumana, there used to be gymnasium where the young boys जब वहाँ जाते थे, कसरत करते थे, कुश्ती लड़ते थे, ताकि उनका शरीर तैयार हो, so that they can, if required, they can fight for the protection of religion, fight for the protection of the tradition. महाराष्ट्र की जो भक्ति है, भक्ति भी अलग अलग तरीके से की जाती है. जैसे कि राधा कृष्ण की जो भक्ति है उसमें साख्य भाव है, उसमें मधुरा भक्ति है, साख्य भाव नहीं मधुरा भक्ति है। मधुरा भक्ति का प्रसार उत्तर भारत में बहुत हुआ है, मथुरा जैसे जगहों पर, जिसमें कृष्ण को प्रियकर और उसके जो डिहोटी होते हैं वो प्रेयसी मानते हैं। लेकिन उस तरीके की भक्ति यहाँ पर महाराष्ट्र में उसका प्रसार ज़्यादा नहीं हुआ। महाराष्ट्र की भक्ति जो है वो वात्सल्य और सख्य भक्ति है। वात्सल्य भक्ति मतलब जिसमें मदर और चाइल्ड का प्रेम होता है। जैसे विट्ठल को माउली कहा जाता है, माउली मीन्स मदर। So the kind of love that a mother should have for her children, same kind of love Vitthala is having towards his devotee. Even Ganeshwara is referred as Mauli. And there is a Sakhya Bhakti where the god is like a friend. Sakhya means Sakhya, Sakha means friend. So this type of bhakti is having a kind of effect on the character of the Maharashtrian people, that they became more sober and they just did not go into the iskasti of Madhura Bhakti, like, assuming themselves as Radha and then started dancing, that kind of bhakti they did not was not preached in Maharashtra. uh, Jizabai, who was inspired by the stories of epic, it is believed that she used to tell the stories of Rama and to Shivaji, brave Rama, and that became a source of inspiration. And that is the reason we find that legacy continued. Shivaji, he manifested that kind of ideas, like, we come across the references to this, like Shivaji in the Bakar, Shivaji says, "He Rajya bhave hi srichi ichha." That means this kingdom should come into existence is a will of God. And he used to call his kingdom, अपने राज्य को श्रीच राज्य बोलते थे, ईश्वर का राज्य कहते थे। तो ये कहीं ना कहीं हिंदू धर्म के प्रोटेक्शन के लिए हमारे पास में एक राज्य होना चाहिए। ये भी महाराष्ट्र धर्म में निहित था। दैट वाज वन ऑफ द थिंग इम्प्लाइड इन द महाराष्ट्र धर्म। uh, now there are different opinion of the historian. For example, Rajwade, he said that the संत of Maharashtra वो केवल विट्ठल विट्ठल करते रहते थे और ताल बजाते रहते थे, और उसने महाराष्ट्र के लोगों को दुर्बल कर दिया। लेकिन ये एक बहुत वन साइडेड ओपिनियन है, क्योंकि उन्होंने ही महाराष्ट्र के लोगों को एक साथ बांधा, और जो यूनिटी धर्म के नाम पर बनने लगी, उसी यूनिटी को हम लोग देखते हैं बाद में वो राजनीतिक यूनिटी में भी प्रभावित होने लगती है, जब मराठास एक साथ आए और उन्होंने मुगलों के खिलाफ संघर्ष करके अपना बहुत बड़ा साम्राज्य स्थापित किया। रानडे, राइज ऑफ मराठा पावर, जो उन्होंने किताब लिखी, उसमें जरूर वो संत की प्रशंसा करते हैं कि संत ने इस महाराष्ट्र के भूमि में बहुत महत्वपूर्ण काम किया है, बाय बाय इनकलकेटिंग एंड मेंटेनिंग द प्राइड ऑफ द मराठी पीपल, प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग हिंदू एंड प्राइड ऑफ बीइंग मराठा। सो क्योंकि बाद में पेशवा भले ही ब्राह्मण थे, और पेशवा की सेना में हर तरीके के लोग होते थे, हर जाति के लोग होते थे, उनके कई सरदार ब्राह्मण भी थे, लेकिन वो सब अपने आप को कलेक्टिवली मराठा मराठा कहते थे, मराठा साम्राज्य कहते थे। पेशवा का साम्राज्य ये नहीं होता था शब्द, इट वाज अ मराठा साम्राज्य। So there was a kind of pride of being Maratha, as well as pride of being protector of Hindus, pride of following certain values like moral values, and we find this is reflected later on also। पेशवाओं का जब राज्य उत्तर भारत में फैलने लगा, तो उन्होंने ज़रूर वो जो धर्मस्थल थे मथुरा जैसे, उसको मुक्त करने की कोशिश की, अपने अधिकार में लाने की कोशिश की। सो हियर आई एंड द डिस्कशन ऑन महाराष्ट्र धर्म। इफ यू आर हैविंग एनी डाउट, यू कैन आस्क मी।